crow pose is a hand balance, and so of course your hands are on the floor as the foundation. In this variation, rather than propping your knees onto the upper arms, which is a great one to play with, we're going to do a different one where the knees hug onto the outer arms. So essentially, two hands on the floor, knees hug in, shift forward, and then once you find a little bit of that tipping point, then you bring your toes in. So this is crow pose at its foundation, and we'll start off with this. So I get a lot of students who share with me that they don't think that they're strong enough to come into crow pose, or they're really scared to come into crow pose. And although this pose does require some element of arm strength, of course, for me it's way more about being well aligned rather than having super big muscles to be able to get into it. And one of the key alignments is the foundation of your hands. The placement of your hands, you want them to be about shoulder width distance apart. Sometimes people will say a little bit closer, which works as well, but definitely not too far apart. If you're too far apart, this is what's going to happen when you come into your crow pose, which doesn't allow you to hug into the midline very well. So with your hands, I place mine about shoulder width distance apart, and I want to make sure that the creases of my hands are parallel with the crease of my mat. And I'll show you from here so that you can see it a little bit better. Creases of the wrist parallel with the front edge of the mat looks like this versus something like this. And when you see myself turn my hands out like this, you'll see what that does with the shoulder, right? It starts to roll out. And so we actually want the upper arms and everything else to start hugging into the midline for the balance to occur.